Hey there, and welcome back to another action-packed, exciting episode of the Everyday History Podcast. I'm Dustin Lloyd, and with me, as always, is Tristan Boo Boo Kirby.
Hello.
And we're trying some new recording equipment today. I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah, Riverside FM, folks out there, if you're curious.
Shout out. Yes. So hopefully this sounds better than our last couple episodes.
Yeah, hopefully, but if not, you'll listen anyway.
If not, yeah, fuck you. You've listened this long. So next week we may not have an episode. My job's got us opening a new store, so it's going to be a crazy week for me. But, how can you miss us if we don't go away?
That's right. The longing makes the heart grow fonder.
Exactly. Maybe not in our case.
They're like, oh, thank God. They took a break.
Thank God I don't have to listen this week.
You didn't have to listen any week, asshole.
Don't tell them. So we've also got a Patreon. We haven't had anybody sign up yet because, we haven't advertised it. But if you guys sign up for our Patreon, it's only $3 a month. And I'll start uploading new stuff as soon as we have subscribers, whenever that is.
Right. It's on you guys, really. It's not on us at this point. It has to be meeting us halfway on this one. We provide the content, you give us your money. It's pretty law of equal exchange, I'd say.
It's a mutual partnership there, guys. Do your part. We've done ours. Right.
And if you don't want to pay us, you could at least like, comment, and subscribe wherever you're listening from.
Yeah, at least do that. It costs nothing.
It costs nothing, and it's really nice. It's a nice thing to do. It's a good way to help us, I think. Right?
It's a great way to stay in shape. So this is usually where I'd ask you, hey, what do you think this episode's going to be about? But you usually just list off the catalog of episodes we've already done. So fuck you. I'm not giving you that satisfaction today,
buddy. Well, you read my mind today because I was like, in lieu of tradition up to this point, I was going to say not mousetraps, not cats.
I knew it. Today's subject actually goes by a few names. And if you're across the pond, you probably call it a trolley.
A trolley.
And if you're in the southern United States, you might call it a buggy. Having lived in Louisiana at one point in my life, I've personally heard it called a buggy in addition to what we call it here. Do you know what today's topic is now?
Well, is it shopping carts?
It is. It's shopping carts. The history of the shopping cart, buggy, trolley, goes back to the Dark Ages.
What?
Yeah, 1937.
Oh my God, yeah.
So prior to 1937, customers would have to carry their items by hand, or bags or baskets, and it would lead to people comically dropping things all over the street as they'd walk home or to their vehicles.
Oh, bully.
I don't know if it really led to that, but it's funny to imagine, like, there's this epidemic of people just dropping shit on their way back to their vehicles.
Won't someone save us?
Causing mass hysteria in buses as things are just flying all over the place when they hit a bump.
So many bruised fucking fruits and vegetables and shit. Smushed bread.
Oh, the smushed bread. I've many times accidentally smushed bread, bringing it into the house, not realizing I had bread in one of the bags.
Dented cans, which led to a series of botulism.
I'm one of those people that, tries to bring in everything at one time.
Oh, yeah, me too.
So all that changed when it came to, how we shop. It all changed because of one man, Sylvan Goldman. I've never heard his name before. Never heard his name.
No.
He was a rather serious and rough type of dude. He wasn't known for fucking around when it came to his business, the Humpty Dumpty Mart. That was in Oklahoma, and I don't know if he was a serious guy or not. I just thought it was funny to set up the actual name of his shopping mart.
No nonsense here at the Humpty Dumpty Mart, goddammit.
I don't have time to fool around at the Humpty Dumpty.
I don't pay you to jibber jabber, damn it.
So we definitely need to go back into his background before we dive into the card invention. So this is the part where you go, personal lore.
Personal lore. It's personal floor time.
He was not only the guy who created the shopping cart, he was a fucking pioneer of the supermarket concept itself. He didn't invent it like I originally thought he did, because I was like, oh shit, this guy was fucking awesome. And then I start reading more and I'm like, oh, I misread that. But his concept of self-service grocery stores was inspired by stuff he saw when him and his brother lived in California. And I know this isn't the history of the supermarket, but I feel like this will help us understand why a shopping cart was suddenly needed.
It's all relevant.
In the 30s and not before. Yeah, it works itself out. And it helps, buff up this episode a little bit, because it's not a long topic.
We need some padding here.
So the reason that it was suddenly needed is that prior to the 1900s, like early 1900s, there was no such thing as a self-service retailer. Like you couldn't just walk into a shop and grab something off the shelf. You would have to instead talk to the clerk and ask him to bring you the extra small condoms, a bottle of lube.
Right, and people just got tired of that. It led to a wave of insecurity, the likes of which we still haven't recovered from.
And what's worse, though, the insecurity is bad enough, right? But prices weren't posted.
The old bait and switch, motherfucker.
The old haggle and bargain.
Right.
You'd have to bargain with the clerk until an agreement was reached. And while that might not seem that bad on paper, it was often unfair to the customer if the clerk was aware of the customer's status in society and their ability to pay.
Right. They're like, nah, man, I know you can afford to pay fucking $5 for this shit. Quit trying to stiff me.
Yeah, so, it was a way to fuck with the little man once again.
Of course.
Or, God forbid that, some of the racial tensions back in those days, just being the wrong race would cause prices to be higher for you. More bullshit.
It screws people on both ends.
Yeah.
It's like rich people get punished for doing well, and then, obviously the minorities get punished for just the nature, unfortunately, at that time,
But the thing was that this model of commerce goes all the way back to ancient Rome.
So it had been around for talking to the shopkeeping system? Okay.
Yeah, the bargain system, yeah. So it took this long for someone to be like, hold the fuck up. And that was when Sylvan came along.
hang on now.
Wait a tick.
Right. Wait a tick.
So he was born in 1898, and he only had an 8th grade education.
Oh, wow.
He and his brother, who is apparently lost to history, having accomplished nothing more than other being the brother of the grocery store prodigy, opened up Goldman Brothers Wholesale Fruits and Produce in Breckenridge, Texas, in 1919. They saw immediate success because of the world-class BJs Alfred would give behind the dumpster out back.
Come for the fruit, stay for the blowjobs.
Sorry, I misread that. It was because of the Texas oil boom.
God damn it.
But once the oil stopped squirting, so did they. So they began planning to open a new store in California, but returned to their home state of Oklahoma because their uncles wanted to start a retail store themselves. But they weren't good with the blowjobs, so they had to bring Alfred.
Of course.
I'm not really sure why they needed why the uncles needed them to come, but I'm assuming it's like because the brothers had proven experience.
I wonder if they were like Charlie's grandfather in the Willy Wonka movie. Like, this motherfucker didn't get out of bed for 20 years, but as soon as some shit was happening, he's like, I'm up, take me with you.
And he could suddenly dance and everything.
Right? Like, dude, you've been bedridden, you lazy piece of shit. Yeah, no shit. Goes there and trashes the man who built the fucking chocolate empire. Man, fuck you, you hater.
Worst movie villain ever, Grandpa Joe.
Greatest lazy guy ever, though.
Oh, yeah, an inspiration to all of us, really.
He gives off strong Uncle from Red Dead vibes, like Uncle Joe, like Grandpa Joe just had lumbago. Yeah.
It's terminal. I've got lumbago. So of course, they probably wanted the brothers to come back because of their experience,
Yeah.
So they reached a deal to start this new venture, with the uncles putting up all of the money, and these brothers got a 75% interest in the business, which sounds like a fucking, one-sided agreement there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds like maybe the reason the uncles wanted them to come and help them is because apparently the uncles were fucking stupid. But they were probably just being generous. I don't know.
We ain't making no money.
While the brothers were exploring California, they were considering their old store idea, and they saw a new concept called, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, a supermarket.
Oh.
Where all sorts of different goods and foods were sold under one roof. And that was a novel idea, like, in that time.
Gone are the days of specific stores for specific things. No! Join me as I have all the things in one convenient location.
I like to imagine people's minds were just blown and it's people chanting, "Witchcraft! He's a witch!"
Right. This is why I only got an 8th grade education, I said.
So in 1920, they moved to the city of Tulsa and founded the state's first supermarket, Sun Grocery Market. They would open 21 of these stores in Oklahoma by 1921. So in 1 year, they opened 21 of these stores.
Wow.
Yeah, so they were either phenomenal businessmen or their sugar daddy uncles were fucking loaded. It's one or the other. In 1929, they sold their business to the Skaggs Safeway Company. And Skaggs Safeway eventually became Safeway, if you've ever heard of Safeway.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have those around us in our area of Virginia, but I've seen them, as I traveled across this great country in my youth.
Beautiful country.
They do have stores in Virginia. I didn't know that, but I saw them out in Arizona. So
yeah, I feel like the last place I saw a Safeway was like when I'd go to West Virginia for the summers when I was younger. Maybe. It's down near Charleston, like Bluefield and shit. Anyway.
Oh yeah, okay.
Skag.
I don't know. I have to look into that. Skaggs. Strong country name.
It's Finnish for resilient.
Now, keep this in mind. The Great Depression started in 1929, the year they sold their store.
Okay.
And just 5 years later, literally in the middle of aforementioned depression, they bought a struggling supermarket called Humpty fucking Dumpty.
Humpty motherfucking Dumpty.
They owned a chain of other grocery stores, but that's not important, so.
Irrelevant.
Honestly, most of this isn't, but I like to talk and you're forced to listen, so.
I am, and so are all you guys who are still with us. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, thank you for putting up with us. So one day in 1937, Alfred Goldman died during a routine gangbang.
We always told him. I wasn't there, but we always told him, 2 dicks is too many. Don't go for the
dicks
third.
Are not enough.
He said, watch me. Watch me.
I really have no idea how he died, and I hate to keep trashing on Alfred. I don't know nothing about the man.
Well, he made a shopping cart. There's not much that's going to be said about him, man. People don't even put the motherfuckers back. And let me just say now that I'm on this tangent, that shit pisses me off. You lazy motherfuckers. Whoa. They don't pay nobody for that. Anyway, okay.
Yeah. I'm with you. And also, Alfred didn't invent the shopping cart. It was his brother, Sylvan, who did. So he really did absolutely nothing other than maybe his legacy is me making blowjob jokes about him. But he's lost to history otherwise. I don't even know how he died.
I bet he never thought he'd wind up on a podcast.
They had no concept of what a podcast is.
Exactly.
Anyway, that left Sylvan running that business alone, or the businesses alone, because they had multiple. And with no sexually deviant brother around to force him to look at women as objects, he began to empathize with the ladies that he would see around his store who had children and were struggling to try to handle shopping baskets and kids. And I'll quit making things up about Alfred. May he rest in peace. # gone but not forgotten except to history. So in 1936, Sylvan sat in his office contemplating how to move more groceries. And while I couldn't find a clear link between him seeing the struggling women and the concept of more groceries, I'm guessing that maybe seeing the mother struggle and wanting to sell more stuff probably sparked an idea that fused together, right?
Yeah.
So regardless of the inspiration, that night he got an idea. So he got a wooden folding chair, slapped a basket to the seat and wheels to the legs, and boom, shopping cart, trolley, buggy.
Boom!
Right there.
So easy.
And I know it sounds like one of my fake history jokes, but it is 100% real. Yes, it was a folding chair that he put a basket on and wheels.
This was just the prototype, you see. And I think maybe he realized that, those babies and toddlers weren't shit when it came to, helping mom carry the groceries. You fucking
they weren't.
Idiots.
I know I wasn't.
Me either.
If anything, I was trying to sneak candy in the basket.
That's right. It's fucking, I don't know, just a nuisance. Carry some groceries, you freeloaders.
So he got one of his employees, a public masturbator named Fred Young. Just kidding, he was a mechanic. He got Fred to help him tinker with the idea, and the first shopping cart was 2 wire baskets attached to a metal frame. So that's the first one that he actually put into use, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's where we can settle the proper name thing once and for all, because, they call it different things in different places. But what did he patent it?
Yeah, what was it called? The basket on wheels.
It was the folding basket carrier. So there you go. Rolls right off the tongue.
Folding
That's what we're going to start calling it.
Basket carrier.
Yes, nailed it. See, like I said, rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, I had to say it a little slow because, it's so hard. But there we go.
Well, you did it for the listeners that sometimes, don't grasp things like they should.
Right, I'm your representation, folks. I'm the slow one.
Also, it'll help me when I listen back. And I'm like, oh, folding basket carrier. Got it. Okay.
Okay, a carrying basket in which a folding action occurs.
He got another mechanic, a guy named Arthur Costed, to create a method to mass produce these carts, which he fucking did, by the way.
Right, just for decades later to be like, they pay someone for that. Yeah, guess what? It still pisses me off.
So Sylvan apparently knew a lot of mechanics, which makes me think that he was very hard on his vehicles.
Well, his brother Alfred probably helped grease the wheels there.
Gross.
Ooh. Rest in peace, Alfred. Rest in peace, Alfred. Hashtag forgotten by every... Yeah, you get it.
I'm going to put that in there, too. And then we'll use that as the hashtag on the episode notes.
Hashtag...
Yeah,
I don't know. Whatever!
So he was given his patent in 1940. Oh. The patent itself, though, I'm sorry, he called it the folding basket carrier. I got a little ahead of myself. The actual patent is called the folding basket carriage for self-service stores.
Wow.
That's the government name.
Oh my God. I don't want to refer to it by the government name, but God damn it, now we have to.
I could just imagine like a store manager being pissed off at all the shopping carts out in the parking lot. Go out there and get those folding basket carriages for self-service stores. Now.
All of them, sir?
I need all of those folding basket carriages for self-service stores in the building right now.
Sir, but all these... God, I can't even fucking say folding basket carriers for self-service are really heavy when you put them all together.
To be fair, I've got the words right in front of me, so I can just read it every time I need to. You did it without it.
Ah!
He advertised this folding basket carriage as part of a brand spanking new no basket carrying plan. Yeah, so it was hyping up the fact, hey, no more baskets. We've got baskets with wheels.
On wheels?
So they like fucking hyped it up with all the advertising and shit, and you better believe he made a fucking fortune off that shit. Just kidding, It was a massive flop. It was a massive flop.
Damn.
Here's why. Men thought they were too effeminate.
Oh my God.
And when I first read that, I'm like, what the fuck?
You're like, only Nancy's use those things.
Only Nancy boys use those.
Oh shit. What the fuck, man?
The problem with women is that they found them to be too suggestive of a baby carriage. And I don't know why that would have been an issue. I don't know.
Like, I'm not with child. I don't need this shit.
Maybe that was the thing. I don't know.
I can carry my fucking groceries.
Sylvan, a fucking genius that he was, hired several male and female models to push these new carts around his store.
Ah.
Which is pretty brilliant, but I like to imagine that he hired the most attractive people in the world to model these carts. Right. Like, maybe everyone else in the city was like moderate looking at best, maybe a 5. Right. These people were like 15s, like movie stars. And every time a customer would ask them about one of the carts, they would just go into like some over-the-top demonstration.
Using these self-service carts will make you beautiful. I guarantee it.
Ma'am, who does your hair? Oh, this self-service cart does. But that's just how I like to imagine it.
It's probably a lot more bleak and boring. Like, yeah, I'm not using that fucking shit. It's stupid.
But now we're done with Sylvan for a while, so let's go to Orla Watson.
Oh, shit.
And when I heard that name, I was like, oh, shit, a name like Orla? She was probably hot. Not today hot, but like 1940s hot.
Right.
Turns out Orla is a dude's name, so...
Oh, man.
Did not know that. So Mr. Orla was, or I don't know if he was Norwegian, but Orla. He was responsible for inventing the rear swinging door that allows you to push carts into each other to save space.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. So
it's a real folding basket now, boy.
We're evolving. It was still pretty primitive, but it worked, you know. And apparently he had a rivalry with Sylvan, who I just said we're done with for a while, but I lied. They both tried to apply for a patent for a variation of the shopping cart. So Orla continued improving his design while Sylvan took advice from a few business partners and basically invented the nesting cart that we see today.
Yeah.
Just basically he just modified that little
back flap.
Yeah, make one cart penetrate the other's back flap.
You don't always have to fuck her hard.
So to avoid legal ramifications, he didn't call it the nesting or swinging cart because, you know, Orla was already calling it that.
Yeah.
So he called it the Van Penetrator Glug Glug 5000.
And boy, did it.
Obviously, that was a bad joke. He called it the Nest Cart, which he patented in 1948, over 1 year after Orla filed for his sexy patent.
And after Hitler died like a bitch.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that had happened.
Yeah. We got a whole world war going on. This guy's like, how can people carry their groceries easier? Talk about priorities. I bet he was a draft-dodging piece of shit.
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Yeah, it's not really relevant. We're talking about shopping carts.
I like that it's funny that, like, to avoid the legal ramifications, he didn't call it a nesting or swinging cart. He called it a nest cart. Like, that'll save you.
Right. Hey, there's no ing.
Oh, there's no ing. There's no fucking ing. So the design was so similar that investigations were issued and a long legal battle ensued.
Oh, wow.
And Sylvan ultimately conceded defeat and paid a whopping $1 in damages.
That ruined him.
And Orla, in turn, granted Sylvan an exclusive license. So basically, these guys decided, rather reluctantly, that they would work together. So Sylvan would sell the carts, and Orla would make, like, royalties from the design. So everybody won. And honestly, I'd like to see this story put into movie form. Are you listening, Danny McBride?
Right, please.
I know you're done with Righteous Gemstones. This is a gold mine.
Right, we're talking shopping carts.
Got a happy ending even, almost. We're going to get there.
Right, this story is a comedy, not a tragedy.
Other manufacturers desired to produce shopping carts with the rear swinging door because, well, it was the fucking best thing that's ever happened to shopping at that point.
No shit.
However, they were denied because of Sylvan's patent, because he had an exclusive license, right?
God damn it!
And I know I said earlier we were done with him, and I thought we were when I was doing this research, but it turns out he's, all over the place, and I couldn't get away from him. And I decided to stand by my initial statement and not delete it from my notes out of spite. I don't know who I'm spiting, but I guess myself.
Right, you're stepping on your own foot here.
So after a year or so, that legal agreement they had, in 1950, the federal government filed a lawsuit saying that the license was invalid. So basically, Sylvan's company agreed to sell the license to any manufacturer, and they licensed it to many manufacturers until the 60s when the patent expired. So they still made their money, but, it got kind of messy there. They tried to make a monopoly on the shopping cart is what it sounds like.
God, come on.
So we're going to skip a little bit to the present age.
All right.
Or not really the present age, but we're going to still jump back and forth. And once again, I wrote that, and then out of spite, I kept it in.
You're like, no retcon. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I stand by it.
Shopping carts haven't really changed much anyway, like at least until recently.
Sure.
They began to feature children's seats and bigger baskets in the 60s, began to make them out of plastic in the 70s,
Ooh.
and the 80s, The 80s?
The sexy 80s.
In the sexy 80s, they brought about the swivel chair. The swivel wheel, rather. And ergonomic handles. Fuck yeah.
The bane of human existence, god damn it. The fucking swivel wheel.
The swivel wheels, one's always stuck. Or just dangling. Or
with a fucking whole wig clumped in the fucking wheel.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Or during COVID, it was masks.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, they're still evolving, right? But then we've got smart shopping carts, whatever the fuck that is. They started to appear around 2017, and I've never used one, so I don't know how they work. And I didn't feel like researching that.
Amazon carts, I think, where you can like just pay for the groceries at the cart? ?
Yeah, I guess it kind of scans it as you put it in there.
Yeah, kind of like
and it goes by the weight of what you've got in the cart, so it knows you're not stealing, I assume.
Damn it.
I assume. And that would be a major design flaw, if not.
Right. Right, I've got a TV's weight worth of bananas.
Wow, we're giving people ideas. We should probably cut that out. No, actually, let's use it ourselves. We'll cut that and we'll do it ourselves.
That's right.
Anyway,
join us on Patreon to hear that bit.
Anyway, that's been the history of the shopping cart. And hope you guys enjoyed it, because it wasn't very long.
Talk about an emotional roller coaster, eh?
Yeah, gone but not forgotten.
Rest in peace, Rip Van Winkle. Alonzo, whatever his name was, Alfred the BJ King.
It doesn't matter what his name is. He's lost to history.
He will be remembered for his gratuitous blowjobs. Because, not enough people cup the balls. And I think that's where...
He was actually known for cupping the balls. That was his, signature move.
Alfred Cup the Balls Matoni, or whatever the fuck his last name was. Known for cupping the balls.
That's where we're going to end it right there.